Week 5 of the GPL had upsets in all groups, 2 draws, and sadly a match postponed. My name is Rex, and welcome to GPL Breakdown. Group C opened the second half of the season with a Vietnamese derby between Hanoi Pho Louis and Saigon Jokers. Pho Louis had held strong in the first half of the season, with a 1-win, 1-draw, 1-loss record, putting them in a tied second place with Team Fat Rabbit. However, the day went strongly in favor of Hanoi Pho Louis, who pulled off one of the upsets of the season against the undefeated Jokers, finished 2-0, and jumped up to within 2 points of the number 1 spot. Game 1 involved a drawn-out comeback on the side of Pho Louis. They struggled through the early game, but came back hard in the late game with their composition. Game 2 was simpler for Pho Louis, but still no walk in the park. MVP has to go to Pho Louis support Starfall, finishing both games with more than 25 assists and a flawless second game. The second set of the day was between Singaporean Team Fat Rabbit and the struggling Jakarta Juggernauts. Going into the match, Fat Rabbit looked almost certain to win, and it stayed that way. A simple 2-0 for Fat Rabbit keeps them in touch with the top 2 with 2 tough rounds ahead. Neither game could be considered close. Team Fat Rabbit took a hold of the game early and never let go in both games, eliminating any chance of the Juggernauts providing an upset. AD carry Pest Chap managed to go both games without dying, while the entire team's mentality towards closing the game out was spot on. On the second day of the week, Group B took to the rift with the Filipino Meneski Globe and the Vietnamese Saigon Fantastic Five. This fixture has proved to be jaw-dropping in the past, and it lived up to the hype again. In the end, both teams were just as good and were forced to settle with a 1-1 draw, Meneski winning the first match and Fantastic Five coming back in Game 2. Game 1 went down to the wire, ultimately decided by Meneski mid laner Yumei's Jace, assisted by the interesting support Lux from Noel. After a convincing Game 1, Meneski were not able to complete the set, as Saigon Fantastic 5 AD carry Minus put on his carry pants and boasted a 12-0-13 score on his hyper carry Vayne. That set was followed by the Thai Team Infinite and the Vietnamese Anphat Ultimate. The draw earlier in the night gave Ultimate a chance to reach the number 1 spot if they could take all 3 points from Infinite, which they did so convincingly. Game 1 was dominated by Ultimate AD carry B1, finishing the game with an 8-1-8 scoreline and destroying opposition AD carry Oppa in multiple aspects. B1 continued his dominance into Game 2, where he and his team cruised to a second victory with just as much ease. On the final day of the week, Thailand's Bangkok Titans looked to continue their Group A winning streak against the Philippines' GameX War Gods. Unfortunately for the Titans, they dropped points for the first time in the spring season, forced to share points thanks to a 1-1 draw after a strong Game 2 performance from the War Gods. Game 1 was simple for the Titans, snowballing thanks to the early pressure provided from jungler 007X on his Pantheon. The quick win took them into Game 2 with confidence, too much confidence, as they gave War Gods strong jungle champion Rek'Sai, who, under the control of War God's jungler JLC, was able to control the game from the get-go and finish the set 1-1. Unfortunately, the final game of the week between Aces Fate and War God's PID Diamond had to be postponed due to connection issues on the side of Aces Fate. That takes us to our standings, as we can see that in Group A, Bangkok Titans have solidified their spot in the second group stage, and War Gods remain in third. With the Aces Fate and Diamond team match still to be played, all teams have a chance of joining the Titans in the second group stage. Group B sees a surprise leader in Anphat Ultimate thanks to the second draw between Meneski Globe and Saigon Fantastic 5. Meneski find themselves 3 points from the top 2, with work to do to secure a group stage number 2 slot. Unfortunately for Team Infinite, their season is over. In Group C, Saigon Jokers picked up something in their loss column for the first time in the season, giving both Hanoi Pho Louis and Team Fat Rabbit a sniff of the top place. Jakarta Juggernaut's debut season will end in a failed one, now guaranteed to miss out on moving on to the second group stage. Group D's standings remain the same after a Week 5 bye. That's it for GPL Breakdown Week 5. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in helping, please let us know. The GPL will continue on Wednesday at the usual time of 2 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, noon Central European Time, and 9 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. See you next week!